Okay, so we're going to start outside as if you were walking down the path and heading to the entrance of my studio. This property was originally built in the late 18th century. The store building, the general store building, is where I have my studio. It was reconstructed in the early 1900s to be enlarged. It has been a general store, a barber shop, an artist studio, and now it's where my studio is. So the little town that we're in is called Glendale, which is why I call my studio Glendale Art Studio. A lot of these little towns in Bucks County, which were simply crossroads with 2 or 3 houses, had names. So that was our town name. Down the street was the butcher. Next door was the wheelwright. Our home is where the general storekeeper lived. And then across the street was a farm. So if we walk along the porch here, you can imagine there used to be steps here where you could pull up on the dirt road, park your wagon, and enter the store. So nowadays, I use the downstairs of the store to show my work, and if you were to come here to my open studio, this is where the work would be hanging for you to see. So we'll talk later on about what some of these paintings are about, but for now, I would just love for you to imagine that you were here, and hopefully I can give you a look at these pieces in such a way as to give you the experience as if you were actually standing here with me, which I would love. So hopefully one day all of you can come here and see me here in the studio. This does help you to get some idea of the scale of things. So for instance, the small pieces on the left in a row are 10 by 10, and the one next to it's 30 by 40. The little teeny tiny pieces are the ones I just love to do on the porch at the lake in the summertime. So we'll talk a little bit more about the porch at the lake later on. But as we walk around, you can sort of take a look at some of the different size paintings that I have. On the bottom is 36 by 48. It's winter at the lake in that piece. On the top, 12 by 48 across the top there is spring. And coming in closer, these are the works on tin. And again, we'll talk about those a little bit later, and I can tell you about how they're made. But they are 12 by 14. Lovely view out the window across the street to the farm. Moving around to see more works on tin. Walking to a sunrise or sunset. This piece is 36 by 36. I'll show you this one later as well as an example of a piece that was done as a part of a series. And then a couple of the more pieces on tin here, pivoting around. This piece is one of my more abstract paintings. There's a line drawn across the top that differentiates between the top landscape and the bottom, which is much more abstract. And there is a lot of pencil actually in this drawing. I love to draw. And so bringing drawing into these paintings really makes perfect sense for me. So when you get close, or if you're here in person, it's something you can see more easily, that there's quite a bit of drawing in these paintings. And then dropping down to these smaller pieces. Again, these are pieces that I do at the lake when we're there. And these are out of oil pastel. So these are very small, 4 by 4. Coming across here, I'll give you the full view of everything so you can kind of get a sense of scale. It's also really a beautiful building, has a really cool vibe. My husband says it's haunted. He won't come out here at night by himself. Small fact. These are from the Cathedral series. Again, I'll tell you about these a little bit later. This is one of my favorite paintings. I love the light. And again, this is one it's great to see in person because when you get really close, you can see the brush strokes, which are these little rectangular shaped dashes that come across this piece. And it's got a really beautiful sense of light. So if I pivot down to the table here, this was a really cool thing to be involved with last summer. MasterCard Black has a magazine that they put out, and they put an artist on the cover, and they chose my work for that. So that was a really neat thing to be involved in and a great team of people to work with. And this piece is actually still available. I'll try not to make you dizzy as I take you back over to it, over there on the wall. So I have a magazine that goes with that painting, if anybody's interested. Coming back around here, so here on the floor, some more oil pastels. Slightly larger at 5 by 7. Coming around here, another very dramatic painting with lots of those little brush strokes in it. And again, this piece has to be seen in person to be truly appreciated, but I'll give you a sense of it by getting in close here. Backing up, currently the largest size I'm working is 60 by 72. As you can see, my ceilings aren't terribly high, so if I want to work larger than that, I need to be outside. This is one of my favorite pieces as well. When you stand in front of this piece, it's nearly as tall as I am, so it makes you feel as if you're actually outdoors in this landscape. Surprisingly, this is a very small wall. I can touch the ceiling of this building with my hand, and this painting to me doesn't look too big here. It's a really cool piece to have hanging. It has an amazing presence, and it really brings you outside when you're inside, which is a really neat experience. So I think it's a great painting, and I don't think anyone should ever be intimidated by owning a large piece. This is a triptych, a 3-part panel. And then this is a scene that I can't get enough of, so I've painted 3 paintings, one of which is hanging in someone's collection. These 2 are still available. So that is the showing space of my studio, and I hope you have enjoyed seeing it. So I'm going to take you upstairs now. Watch your head. It's an old building. Lots of creaks and groans and so-called ghosts coming up the stairs. This is my view when I work. And again, I feel very lucky to have it. And here is my workplace. Take you in because there's some cool paintings on the back wall over here that I would love for you to see. Again, drawing is featuring pretty prominently, mostly in the horizon of these pieces. This piece is 40 by 60. And if you come in very close here, and again, imagine you're in person and you're really getting in close to this piece, and there's no guard to tell you not to. You can see the drawing that's happening in this. And the same with this one. Lots of drawing. Lots of abstraction. And in this particular piece, lots of depth. It just pulls you right into the middle of it right there where all that drawing is. So I am going to leave you with this piece, and we will gather again, and I will start to tell you a little bit about the inspiration for these paintings.